Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be providing a follow-up on Avalon GloboCare. This is one that we've covered on the channel previously, and there's been some key developments since our last video. Now before we get into that, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. And let me know in the comments section below if you're currently holding shares of Avalon GloboCare, what your thoughts are on the healthcare and biotech sector as a whole, and your outlook for 2024 for this organization. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we wanted to provide an update on Avalon GloboCare Corp. Ticker symbol on this one is ALBT on the NASDAQ in the US. Now this is one that we've covered a number of times on the channel. Our last video came out about 10 months ago. Since then, the company's share price has been downtrending despite some key developments in the business and some major catalysts on the horizon for this organization. So I thought it was a great time to provide a follow-up, get some information out there, and talk about some of these key changes at Avalon GloboCare. Now on the screen, we've got a 6-month chart. This is as of close on Friday, October 13th. And you can see they traded down just under 2.5% to close out the week at 78.2 cents US. Now, before we get into some of the key developments and an article I found that really lays out some key bullish points for this organization, I wanted to provide a quick refresher on Avalon. Again, I would encourage you guys to go back and take a look at those videos. Came out about 10 months ago on the channel. Corporate overview, they were founded back in 2016. Their headquarters is Freehold, New Jersey, which is really a mecca or a hub for a lot of these biotech innovation type of companies. They uplisted to the NASDAQ back in December of 2018 and currently employ about 60 FTEs or full-time equivalents, including some of their subsidiaries. Now, in terms of their technology platforms, we're going to talk about these in more detail throughout today's presentation. They've got their clinical laboratory services and precision diagnostics division. They've got Keto Air, which is an innovative breathalyzer device and nanosensor technology, which we're going to talk about. That's a new development since our last video. And then their QTY protein design platform. This is the one that was developed in partnership with Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, forming that joint intellectual property. Again, we covered this in depth in our last video. And from here, we'll talk about each one of these core platforms in a little bit more detail. Now, I'll leave a link to the corporate website in the video description below. If you click on the core platforms tab, you can see a little bit of a summary in terms of each one of these verticals or pillars within the organization. First and foremost is their precision diagnostics and lab services. Again, which we covered at length in our last video. Their laboratory services MSO, or multi-state operator division. So this is really focused on delivering high quality services related to toxicology and wellness testing to the general public, which includes a wide portfolio of diagnostic tests, including drug testing, toxicology, and a broad array of other test services. So to be more specific, you can see they do stat blood testing, qualitative drug screening, genetic testing, urinary testing, and they really pride themselves on being able to deliver fast, accurate, and efficient test results to practitioners, which allows them to quickly determine if patients are following the designated or laid out treatment plans. Now after that, you've got your Keto Air breathalyzer system. So notice this is trademark technology. And this is actually the area we did not cover in our prior videos. So the Keto Air breathalyzer is a handheld device similar to other breathalyzer machines that allows people to detect what's known as acetone levels in their exhaled breath. And what this is going to allow the user to do is immediately know their real-time ketosis status. Now this breathalyzer has already been registered in the United States under the FDA Class 1 medical devices. And if we take a look under the press releases section, you can see this came out back in April of this year, talking about Avalon GloboCare announcing the commercial launch of this Keto Air breathalyzer system. Now, if we scroll through this article, you can see that Keto Air is the first breathalyzer on the market that uses an AI nutritionist bundled with the nanosensor-based breathalyzer for that ketogenic health management. So this allows individuals to measure their keto status, log their diet records in the Keto Air app, and in return provides personalized nutritional and exercise recommendations to help that individual reach their ultimate health goal. So a very nice complementary platform to some of the other services offered from their lab division. Now, the final vertical I wanted to talk about is their R&D or research and development division. This is the one that's focused on that unique QTY code protein design platform, which involves those water-soluble cytokine receptors that we talked about in our initial coverage. And you can see in this division, they're currently focused on bringing forward their intellectual property associated with the program through joint patent submissions. So when I talk about key catalysts on the horizon for Avalon, this is definitely one of the areas to focus on. So now that we're caught up to speed in terms of what Avalon GloboCare is all about and their different focal points within the organization, I wanted to jump into this article from biotechstockmarketnews.com. I'll leave this linked in the video description below as well, and talk about 5 key points that they've identified in relation to Avalon. So the article is titled, "Recent Acquisition Reveals Little Known Company's Strategic Roll-Up Strategy for Future $315 billion Diagnostics Sector. See why now could be the best time to start your research on Avalon GloboCare Corp." Again, with diagnostics being a key focal point of this company. So as you continue to scroll down, you can see here the key 5 reasons they've identified the potential for significant upside in Avalon GloboCare. Now, the first is going to be the chart itself, so we're going to take a look at that in a second. The second would be an extremely low float situation. So as we've talked about in the past, companies that have a low float tend to have higher velocity when they do see moves in the share price, which can present significant swings and volatility in share price. The third is some of these recent acquisitions that we're going to talk about as we move through this article. Fourth point, artificial intelligence. This is one that we've talked about at length on the channel. And as I just mentioned, the Keto Air platform uses artificial intelligence that's paired into a nutritionist platform and then bundled with a nanosensor-based breathalyzer for that ketogenic health management. And the fifth would be their intellectual property. So that's in relation to that joint patent filing with MIT, in relation to those QTY water-soluble protein receptors. Now, as we continue to scroll through the article, you'll see the overall global clinical laboratory service market is expected to grow exponentially over the next few years. So this is projected out to 2030, where they're expecting the global clinical laboratory services market to be in the neighborhood of about $315 billion. So that's where that number in the article title came from, compared to only about $223 billion in 2023. And as you can see in the explanation here, this is primarily being driven by the increasing demand for early diagnostic testing and the rising prevalence of chronic diseases in our society. So think about the growing prevalence of cancer, the need for toxicology testing, and that increasing demand for early diagnostic testing, which are all contributing to the growth of this industry. Now, with that being said, Avalon GloboCare is already a strong player in the diagnostic testing space, and that's really because of that strategic acquisition in laboratory services, which we just talked about in the intro, which is known as a premier clinical diagnostics and reference lab in the United States. And on top of that, they also made an additional strategic acquisition of DE Laboratory, which further contributes to their portfolio. So as we continue to scroll down, you can see that DE Laboratory LLC made its mark as a CLIA certified and a COLA accredited laboratory provider, specializing in various crucial fields including drug testing, genetic testing, urinary testing, and COVID-19 PCR testing, which was obviously crucially important over the last few years, which is really a great complement to their laboratory services division. And you can see that in terms of laboratory services, this is as of last year, so 2022 fiscal year. Laboratory services MSO achieved revenue of $14.7 million and net income of $6.3 million during the year. And this is actually the press release that came out in July of this year, July 24th, talking about the acquisition of DE Laboratory in Texas, which on average is performing about 1,500 lab tests per month. And you can see provides significant potential growth opportunities for the combined company, considering Avalon owns that 40% interest in laboratory services MSO. And you can see the CEO of Avalon, David Jin, goes on to say this acquisition is just another step towards our goal of expanding LSM through acquisitions and strategic relationships. So again, some of the catalysts to keep an eye on in terms of Avalon GloboCare. Now, the final piece I wanted to spend some time on here is in relation to that AI-driven breathalyzer system, again known as the Keto Air platform. This is in combination with QI Diagnostics Limited, also known as QI Diagnostics, and gives Avalon, through this agreement, exclusive distribution rights to market Keto Air breathalyzer devices and the associated accessories in North America, South America, the UK, and the European Union. Now, this is a look at the product here paired up with the Keto Air app, and that's where users can get some of that real-time information and recommendations based on the breathalyzer platform. And you can see some additional remarks from the CEO, David Jin, talking about the importance of this platform and the significance of Keto Air being the first breathalyzer on the market that combines that AI-powered nutritionist with a nanosensor-based breathalyzer for that ketogenic health management. And on top of that, you've got those 16 jointly filed patents with MIT covering that QTY water-soluble protein technology. So overall, you guys, I definitely think this is one to keep an eye on if you're looking for exposure to the biotech space. They're a diversified business. They've had some key acquisitions over the last few quarters, and the introduction of this Keto Air platform on top of their already exciting portfolio of testing and diagnostic services. So I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts on Avalon GloboCare in the comment section below, particularly if you're holding shares. If you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to join. And if you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.